Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this live Art or Not Giving a Fuck event. I'm Lance Leeson. I'll be your host today. It is my pleasure to present to you the founder, creator, and sergeant of arms of both Command Z and the Art of Not Giving a Fuck, Garrett Don. Today, Garrett will be outlining and discussing the Art of Not Giving a Fuck Elite Training to reclaim your fucking life. Go, Garrett.
All right. Thanks a lot, Lance. That's a great introduction, and I appreciate it very much. The sergeant at arms thing has me a little scared because I'm not sure if I'm battle ready, but time will tell. So the idea here today, I want you guys to get a new view on yourself and a new view of the situation that you're in, or what I like to refer to, I like to use Gurdjieff's term, the terror of the situation. We've just exposed that now. And I want to tell you right now, no matter how you're feeling, we're not here to fix you at all. You might even say, we don't give a fuck about you. Now that's a good thing, because that means I don't care what you're going to do with your life. I want you to be the one who decides that, to be the one who allows yourself to flow into the life that's going to be so amazing for you, and a life that I can't predict. I don't know what it's going to be like for you. And that's the cool thing, because I want you to tell me your stories about unfolding and about expansion and share that with me. That's part of why I do this, because it's so cool to watch someone who believes they're in a prison that doesn't, that has no escape, and then suddenly realize that prison never existed. That's beautiful. I want to help. I want to watch that scene of the movie over and over and over and over again, because every time I see it, it unfolds differently. So that's enough for me. And I'm not here to fix you, because that's a cool thing. Everyone else who's here to fix you, well, we've got some serious business. Let's all sit down in our very serious chairs and talk about how mom and dad fucked us up for life, and let's see if we can loosen up our anuses a little bit today with some talking about our problems, and let's lay it out on the table. Okay, no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to pray. There's no mysticism here. There's just you sitting there exactly as you are, and that, my friend, is enough. But you're not going to take my word for that, ever. You're going to learn by experience how to find your way, not my way, not Lance's way, not the Command Z way, and not even the Art of Not Giving a Fuck way. It's a fun art, and you'll become a master virtuoso at it. And you'll know what I mean, that it's your way, which is ultimately no way, because it's effortless. It's effortless to be you. All the effort you're making is to not be you. And I mean that on a very physical, mechanical level. Okay, so without further ranting, how do we get out of all this shit? How do we get out of that misery, that grinding sense of toiling away at something you don't like, running backwards, full speed, unable to even see that it's possible to stop and turn around and start fresh? How do we do that? And my answer for you today is the NGF Elite Experience. 12 steps to undo your life of delusion and fear and start fresh. And we've just spent the first half hour outlining exactly what that life of delusion and fear consists of, okay? So if you guys have any questions, you can type them in down in the chat there. And even if you're watching this on the replay video or anywhere you see this appearing, go ahead and type in any questions or any revelations you have while you're watching it. I want you to fully engage this material. We're going to go through the 12 steps now. But what I want you to remember is it doesn't necessarily happen in this order for everyone. And each of the steps is something more of a guideline that you can return to check in, like an oil change or a tune-up, to get back into flowing with yourself, okay? To tear out the filters, to bang out the air filter, to cleanse your perception of all the judgment, of all the garbage, of all the fear, of all the doubt, of all the shame, of all the guilt, of all the ridiculous tension and conflict that you carry around with you. And finally, feel yourself as a living body that you are, and then one by one, cleanse and redeem each of your senses, the eyes, the act of seeing versus the act of labeling everything you see, the act of hearing, the act of tasting, the act of touching, the inner sense of feeling, sense of movement, the sense of aliveness, the absolute mystery that you're carrying around and living within all the time, that's right there, not even hidden from you, and yet obscured. and yet ignored. So remember, make each of these points your own. That's what they are. This can only ever have relevance if it's relevant to you. You can only ever be successful if you feel like a success. You can only ever be satisfied if you feel satisfied. That sounds ridiculous, right? But it's true. You don't have satisfaction that someone else defines, because then it's not satisfaction. Do you understand? So we'll get to this. But make each of these points your own. Find them in the document, the NGF communique. Really work with that. Sit with that. Spend some time with it. Print it out. Look at it yourself. Find yourself in it. Find your story in it. And see if you can find that little thread that, if you pull it, will start to unfold and unravel what you think your life is, and allow you to finally sink into, let go into, allow the life that's yours, the adventure that's yours, to truly unfold. And here's exactly how we do that. Number one, step one, finding, catching, and killing the victim. That's number one. You guys have heard me talk about this a lot in other courses, all these victim to adventurer courses, which are just great. But what we're talking about here is the exact 12 steps in an elite experience format. So rather than rushing through the steps, you're going to have an entire week to spend finding, catching, and killing the victim. So we'll use all the other materials we have up to now to bring to our disposal the tools of warfare on this inner victim, to once and for all obliterate it, get over it, and see the world fresh. So I ask you, who's watching this right now, you, try to catch a glimpse, look around you right now, and what would the world look like without your inner victim? You can usually see it for the first couple of seconds before the victim sets in. Okay, that's it. Remember how it looks, and that will always help you to see and catch and kill the victim, or to eradicate the ghost of the victim if it does happen to try to come back into your life. So finding, catching, killing the victim, that is step one. Step two, and actually let me check in before we move to step two. Let's check in with Lance on each of these steps as we go. So Lance, I'm going to bring you unmuted, and then I think or do you have to do that? Let's see.
Yeah.
There you go. So I think as we talk, it'll switch our videos back and forth. Let me see if I go to cameraman here and see if it will broadcast a large video and hide the other. Let's press no. No, let's press yes. Yeah, so it'll just kind of bounce back and forth between us. That's okay. And so yeah, Lance, step one, finding, catching, and killing the victim.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on there? Why is that so important in the beginning?
Because the victim is a master of disguise, and he speaks on your behalf
in your own voice.
Yeah. So depending on the different people that you run into, different days of the week, different environments, it's gonna come in and take you over more and more. And there's a reflex to say like, "Oh no, that's not the victim. that's real," and then just kind of put the blinders on again. So,
well, and then folks starting out doing undoing start to feel something a little more. You start to feel in your body. So what does that feel like at first? It feels like anxiety. When you first start getting back in touch with your body, you break out of depression. Your depression was your body's answer to anxiety. It stops feeling. Then later, the only thing you feel is pains. The only time you become aware of your body is when it's malfunctioning, or when you believe it to be malfunctioning. It's actually functioning perfectly when you feel pains, because it's your living body trying to remind you, you're still alive. That's not a pain. I'm just shouting for you to wake up and stand up out of the goddamn chair and get outside and see something. Then I'll stop hurting your goddamn back. Not until then. Not if you keep forcing me down into these places we both hate. That's what your body's shouting when you feel pain, when you get sick, when you get upset. Now, you can ask your doctor for a different opinion, and I assure you, you should. Don't take my advice on anything bodily or medical. And your doctor will tell you, that he knows better than you what's going on in your body. And your choice is to believe him or not, okay? That's the warning. But what I'm trying to tell you is give a chance. Maybe just listen. Maybe what your body's telling you is clearer than you think and is actually even easier to understand than anything that could be put into words. So that's a little secret we're revealing right now. Your direct experience is closer to you than anything that can ever be described in words. Therefore, it is more important, more real, more primary than anything that could ever be put in words. If you allow the import of what I just said to sink in, it will rattle the foundations of any illusion you could ever have. It will shake them to the core. So be careful. So that's the point. The victim is ubiquitous. If you don't find catch and kill the victim before we get to all these other 12 steps, you can be living the victim life pretending to be undoing yourself, pretending to be free, and the victim is 100% in operation all the time. We have to expose it. You have to feel the embarrassment and the pain of the identification with the victim to realize that it's not you, it never has been you, and it's impossible to be a victim. You were just doing a show where the script said to complain. That's all it was. You weren't really afraid. You weren't even really upset with it. You were just reading a script that had complaints in it. So now you can continue reading the script or not, but once you kill the victim, it's going to be fun either way. Okay, so what we're talking about is these are irreversible changes. Irreversible changes. That's why it's dangerous, because when something is irreversible means you jumped off the bridge. Now you can't reverse that halfway down and get back up to the top. You're already on the roller coaster. It doesn't matter if the thing is falling apart. You're along for the ride. That's it. So step one, finding, catching, and killing the victim, is me giving you the best guarantee I possibly can that you're going to be able to apply and experience the rest of the steps easily, smoothly, while having fun. Otherwise, the victim's going to go, I did some undoing and now my life is fucked up. I ruined it. Oh my God, why did I ever start doing this undoing after all? I should have stuck with Krishna. You know, I should have stuck with why didn't I stay at the Zen temple? Oh my God, you know what? Can I get my job back? You know, let me back into the matrix. Somebody tell me what to do. So, you know, you can tell I'm excited about this training. I mean, really, this has been wanting to come out for a long time. So that's the point. You got to get the victim out of the way in the first place, or he's going to use every success that you have against you. You'll win at the game of life, and the victim will make you think you've lost. So if we get him out of the way, everything's a lot easier. That's the point. So we're going to go from there. Step two. Let's get into step two. Step two is a treasure hunt for 100% juice. A treasure hunt for 100% juice. So what that is that you, and again, you guys, if you have questions along the way, feel free, just type them right into the chat. No problem at all. And Edmar says, a couple of days ago, a situation I used to experience as fear and terror turned into a deep smile and laughter after some days of undoing. I couldn't believe it. And that's awesome, Edmar. Thank you for sharing. I really appreciate that. And I love your hard work and persistence in this stuff. You've got it down, man. Okay, so let's go. Number two, treasure hunt for 100% juice. So this is one of my favorite parts, okay? Because once we've got the victim out of the way, and I'm already talking about step two. You guys are going to, you don't even know how awesome it's going to feel in week 12. It's like someone should have a camera ready in your house for week 12, because it's going to be Indiana Jones Part 5. You know, I mean, that's what it's going to be. So we're at step two, and it's already becoming awesome. I mean, I'm stoked to get to week 2. But a treasure hunt for 100% juice, what that is stalking every situation in your life where you're not accepting yourself at 100%. So that could mean I'm feeling guilty while I play my app game. Okay, your assignment this week is to play the fucking app game for your entire waking state during all of the next free day you have, until you can play it consistently without any guilt or shame. Okay, and I guarantee you that's a quick way to wealth right there. Being able to spend an entire day in bed without guilt. You should practice at that until you master it. That is a serious and difficult practice. You will confront your demons in your bed that way. You don't have to go to the desert. They're right there in your bed, in your mind. The moment you lay down and say, I'm going to spend the whole day in bed, the demons will start leaping around and dancing in your mind, and you'll have a wonderful day of battle in your bed. You know, it's like John Lennon style. John Lennon tried to show that process, him and Yoko Ono in the sleep-in the bed, and no one understood it. No one grasped it at all at the time. I mean, it even, you know, people were like, they're just lazy, you know. They're like, no, this is fucking serious work. You guys are all afraid. You're working at your job all day because you're afraid to fight this battle. So everything gets flipped on its head. You're looking for any situation where you're not accepting yourself. And yeah, it's funny what I'm saying, but it is serious business. So we're looking for those demons that are telling you it's not okay to have fun, that it's not okay to accept yourself. We're going to eradicate those from your life. Now, they could be in any situation, depending on what you do for a living, depending on if you know how your family is, what your life circumstances are. Some people it'll be easier. Some people it'll be a lot of laughing. Some people it'll be a lot of crying. Some people it'll be a lot of screaming into the pillow. So we have organic tools that are not prescriptions for any situation, but that will arise as an accompaniment or a complement to something that you're feeling that you used to not have a way to express in a healthy manner. You used to turn in and stab yourself, cut your arm every time you feel bad. Now you grab a pillow and scream into it. Now the screaming, the anger, the frustration, and the relief from it are all the same thing. You and your wild, awesome experience. Do you get it? It goes from being a victim of anger. Oh, I'm so fucking mad. I'm going to punch my wife and I'm going to hit my dog and all this bullshit too. Okay, I feel this intensity. Here it comes. I know this is the pillow time. Ah! Scream into the pillow, punch the bed, create that space, really make it okay, and all the while accepting yourself. This is me, and it's awesome that I can feel this, and it's awesome that I can express it. Then at the end of that, it shifts on its own. You don't try to change it. It goes away on its own. Not because you wanted to get away from it, but because you gave it a big old hug and said yes to it, okay? That's the treasure hunt for 100% juice. We start embracing virtually everything about ourselves, from the weird, bizarre habits that you'd never want to show anyone, the picking your nose in the back room, the fucking, whatever it is, it doesn't matter, but you accept, no one else has to accept it. In fact, no one can. So we're going to work on that 1 full week, deep self-acceptance. And then you get the code, you earn yourself the code through that spy work. Right now, it might not work. You say 100% juice, but now, and I know Lance too, we all know it. We repeat it to each other. If any of us find ourselves complaining to each other, you know, this our circle of people involved in Command Z and NGF, we say 100% juice. That's the only answer. Hey, no matter what it seems like, it's 100% juice, dude. And then we go, that's right. And the code that you've worked on will then remind you and fill you with it 100% up to the top. So that's week 2. Lance, anything to add on the 100% juice treasure hunt?
No, I think you covered it.
I got a little zesty on that one. A little cayenne pepper in my 100% juice. Yeah, so but that's why I want you guys all to be embracing your life somehow on that level. Just good damn, get into this motherfucker. Just get into it, please. I want to see what art you produce if you're someone who can't paint. I want to see what you draw if you can't draw. I want to see you do business if you're afraid to. You know, come on, let's play the game. So number 3, owning the world, owning reality. I chose that term deliberately after a little bit of deliberation. Owning the world, owning reality. This comes from taking responsibility for virtually everything. Now, it might sound weird when I say, and you've heard it, me and Ben Settle talk about this on the podcast, the Art of NGF podcast, about taking responsibility for everything. Everything is your fault. Okay, so step 3, owning the world, owning reality. Everything is your fault. If you say that to yourself, we're not saying it's true or not. What we're saying is admit it to yourself and allow it to infuse your reality. And what happens is it puts you at the control panel of your life. Everything is your fault. So you can't go, oh man, I got shot out on the corner when I was walking down the street. Well, why were you walking down that street in that corner? Where were you living? Why weren't you more aware of what was going on around you? Could you have been somewhere else? Maybe you could have. But whether or not it's true, what it does is all of a sudden opens your mind to forward-looking action instead of backward-looking complaining. Forward-looking action. So it's as simple as that. Owning the world, owning reality. Everything you see only has relevance because it's relevant to you. Everything you see only has meaning because it's meaningful to you. So you own it all as your own. And then you go forth into the world as a pioneer on the frontier of your own perception all the time. Okay, so that's owning the world, owning reality. And that one's going to take a week to really hammer home. There's tons and tons of exercises and experiences you're going to have to deeply understand what I mean there. Anything to add to that? Owning the world, owning reality. That's kind of an experiential one. It's difficult to deliver in a one-time pop. You might get it from what I just said, but typically that's going to be a good week of settling in with that one.
I agree. Yeah, and of course it's an experiential process. The entire elite training. So just a sneak peek.
Yeah. And like I said, this is all within each of you. You can make these things work on your own. That's why I'm giving you the list. That's why I gave you the communique. The whole thing's there. So part of the thing is with the NGF Elite training is going through this with a group of guys who are going through it in the same or different ways than you, where you guys can reach out to each other all the time and get assistance and remember 100% juice and not allow each other to victimize yourselves. Okay, so we're talking about reinforcing all these concepts in a mastermind construct where the vision of the group gives you greater depth and ability than the vision that you have on your own, all the while learning to trust your own organic flow at the same time. So and then what's the we'll talk about the biggest problem trying to apply these at the end. We'll talk about that later. So number four, leaving the library and entering the theater. Leaving the library and entering the theater. So now let me say as a disclaimer, I love books. I love reading. I have probably 1 million of them floating around on my phone right now, and I'll read them. But you know what they do? I read one concept. I wait for something to hit me. Then I might go watch a TV show, and suddenly another flavor of that concept is there. And then I start playing another game on the computer. Then I read a few texts, maybe something from Lance, check in on a podcast or two, and suddenly that concept has appeared in 5 different ways. And now I'll write an email about it. Now I'll explore it, and it'll open up an avenue of exploration and investigation for me. And I might end up doing some drawing that day, or playing a little guitar, or doing some improv acting, or just you flow with the different activities. So what I'm talking about is not that reading or something is bad. The libraries are bad. I love them. I'll tell you that right now. But for our purposes, leaving the library means setting aside the collection of books, seeing your collection of books, for example, for what it is, a collection of lack, a display to show other people that you have something that you don't think you have, that you think you need, that you think you have to live up to. So we're talking about leaving the library conceptually, metaphorically, not seeing life through someone else's eyes, not holding a book and seeing your life through that person's eyes. That stuff's great. Nothing wrong with that. I love it too. But what we're talking about is taking what you learn and living it, experiencing it, and watching your life from a clear observer perspective unfold like a film, unfold like a beautiful play that you are both starring in, and directing, and watching. You're the audience, the actor, and the director all at once at this point. So rather than, and that's the truth of your existence, but the experience or the storyline that we're all taught to believe is that we are one step removed from our true existence all the time. Somebody else already did all the exploration. Somebody else already did all the pioneering. Someone else already invented all the devices. Somebody else already did all the art. Someone else already explored all this. So I can just read what they said and I don't really have to do it. A book is only an invitation. A concept is only an invitation. That's all it can ever be. Words can only ever be an invitation. And it's until you learn how to make it your real experience, which that's what owning the world, owning reality is, preparing you to do. This one is entering the theater, which is where you realize once and for all in an unbreakable, irreversible fashion that your direct experience is far more primary and separated by a vast chasm from all the stories, from history, from the news, from anything anyone else has ever told you, ever, or that's ever been written or ever been thought. Okay? That's what we're talking about, but not thinking it, but creating the direct experience of that. So from there, number 5. Number 5 is the gentle art of not giving a fuck. And thanks to Lance for being the original coiner of that specific terminology, the gentle art of not giving a fuck. That does come from a jujitsu reference, which, because jujitsu means the gentle art. So we're not talking about the brutal art of not giving a fuck, like running out and, oh, my wife and kids are the problem, I'm just going to fucking abandon them and burn the house down with them in it, or some. We're not talking about some brutal destruction of something that but we're talking about subtle, gentle, looking around, tuning in. After you've gone through the first 4 steps, you're watching your film. Do you care about that? Do you want those actors still in the film? What should happen over here? Maybe I should move the dresser to the other side of the room. I don't know why. I'm going to try that because it's been there for 6 years. What happened? Oh my God, I found that birthday card behind here. That was the last time I played tennis and it felt amazing. You see what happens, okay? That's just a little clue right there. That happens all over the place. Well, let me say it again. It's happening right now. You're not seeing it yet. I'm not giving you anything new. That's the funny thing about all this. But the gentle art of not giving a fuck. And this is where we get deeper into the undoing. So during that, this is where you'll experience the full undoing session. And even if you've done 10, 200, 15,000 sessions before, this will be the first time you ever experience the undoing session. When you get to step 5, having built the foundation that I now see is crucial for the first session to do its magic. So the gentle art of not giving a fuck. We're suiting you with a virtual reality goggles that can help you sift through all the bullshit that everyone's going to throw at you and to stop caring about it. So it's a form of ignoring. And then undoing everything that comes up that seems crunchy or tense or grindy. You're just getting tools. You're doing stone sculpting here. Hammering over here with the big chisel, going over there with that one, doing some shoulders, stretching the face. And then we get into the sandpaper, maybe a little tapping, maybe a little face massage. But sometimes you get out the chisel again and do the gags because you're finding there's panic in some place you never knew you were panicking because you haven't gotten on stage for 20 years. Oh, surprise, surprise, you feel a little scared, right? Well, let's gag. So we learn to start flowing and diving into new experiences that, yes, might generate panic, but not victimization. You won't be paralyzed. You'll feel panicked and you'll go, oh, I'm about to get on stage. Lance, Lance, I think you have a story about living La Vida Loca. Is that true?
Well, that is true. That is true. the crazy things we do. But that kind of has that story has a beginning that you don't know about, where I did my university degree in music, and it was classical guitar. And the first time I got up on stage, I had like an out-of-body experience. The room started shaking, just so much anxiety pulsing through me, just like, gong, 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 gong. Oh my God, what am I doing up here? My hands turned into claws, and and then the resulting embarrassment about the entire ordeal, trying to relax and breathe and get through the music. It was a really intense moment. And then fast forward to, I guess, last year, and I went to do karaoke out of, I think it's in the intensives, and I was flipping through the karaoke book, and I flipped to this page, and of course my eyes just laser beamed on it. It was like living La Vida Loca. It was like, I don't think I know what song I have to sing now. So yeah, and then when I went up on stage and I sang it and I went for it, and then I walked off stage and there was this gangster looking guy with his hat crooked, and he gives me a 5 and he goes, "Bold choice, man, bold choice."
So see, somehow the thing that our mind would tell us, the victim would say that guy's going to kick my ass if I go up there and sing this song. That guy, or that all these people are going to think I'm a complete idiot and loser. Or it would create a bunch of excuses and terror and fear. The thing it feared the most created respect out of the most unlikely character in the room. You know,
Totally.
big gangster dude said, "You're bold for going up and doing something like that." So he saw what you were going through more than the song, more than the content itself. He was tuned in enough to feel fucking, hey man, that guy just rocked some fucking weird shit right there. Something more was going on than anyone else noticed. And there's plenty of other folks in the, that were going through that experience too at the same time. That's the Undoing intensives, and some folks that were experiencing that at the same time and really having a beautiful time of it. Some folks that hadn't sang in 28 years, going out and doing karaoke and finding that it really was totally fine. It was totally chill. Not only was it not terrifying, not only was it not a catastrophe, it was actually super fun and enjoyable enough to want to do it again. So often our greatest fears, when you just can get yourself stopped for a second to turn around and see them and hear them and experience what they really are, they might actually be your greatest joy in disguise. So the next step, number 6. Well, one more thing I want to say about number 5, the gentle art of not giving a fuck. One simple clue for those of you listening is that giving a fuck equals tension. Giving a fuck equals tension. That's a clue to number 5. But again, all this stuff will be fully explored during the full experience. Week 6, step 6, is to face, to see clearly once and for all, to feel completely and dissolve fear. Just fear as a thing itself. What is it? We're going to locate it completely in the body. Get down to the very, very roots of fear and what it actually consists of and how it masks itself, how it masquerades as all the other emotions. Okay? And then we're going to show you exactly how to dissolve it. There's not too much to say about that. You know what fear is. You know how it can tense and paralyze you even when there's no direct threat. So we're going to show you how to see through it, how to dissolve it every single time, and then how to operate in your life. And the cool thing is, not only will you be unafraid and not consumed by worry any longer, really at all, ever, you'll also notice that you're far more prepared for any emergency that actually happens without the fear and worry. Fear and worry make you unprepared to handle emergency. Remember, that's the key to that step, to unlocking fear. Unlocking the power of fear, the key is fear and worry prevent you from being able to handle emergencies. So when you're feeling fear and when you're feeling worried, you need to remind yourself immediately, right now, if something bad happened, I could not handle it. I need to relax. I need to have fun. Because if you're relaxed and having fun, they can be dropping bombs all around you. The zombies are running around trying to get at you, and you realize and you say, thank you for this adventure, okay? Fun, the point of view that I'm trying to help you see that you already have within you will help you turn the apocalypse into your fun adventure, okay? That's the invincibility I'm talking about. I'm not talking about anything between here and there. I'm talking about all the way. Go all the way. Burn it up. Use your life for living right now, today, as you are. And you're untouchable. You become invincible. On a deeper level than bodily harm and pain and emotional pain and baggage and all this stuff, okay? Number 7, your new superpower. This is where we start to explore some new ways of navigating and exploring your life. So your new superpower, number 1, the power of silence and the power of ignoring, which are two sides of the same coin. If you can stop in the middle of any situation that appears to be demanding your attention and be silent, and I mean even for a second, like right now, let's all be silent for just a second. Take a breath. And the silence. So you see, I can turn it all off. It's gone. Everything is gone. You're all gone. The world disappears. I just destroyed the universe. I don't know if anybody else noticed, but I destroyed it and then opened my eyes and recreated it. So we're back here again on the webinar, but that's the power of silence. You have infinite space inside you. You don't have to go to outer space. Now we can. If you can go to outer space, great, let's do it. I'd love to go explore that. No problem. But there is something going on in there. So when you close your eyes and take the silence, even for a moment, just remembering silence rather than closing your eyes and going and figuring something out. No. Don't figure anything out in there. Don't abuse yourself. That's the equivalent of taking a knife and cutting your arm every time you think there's a problem. Don't figure things out. Your mind can't figure anything out. You're not doing math problems, are you? If you want to figure things out, do some math. Go buy Euclid's geometry and work through the proofs yourself, you know, if you want to figure. But if you want to live and enjoy, then live and enjoy. Okay? There's no figuring involved. So the power of silence, you close your eyes and you take your throne. You're the king. Is like Bonnie Prince Billy says, you're the king of infinite space. You just forgot. You thought you were a victim of something out here, that your boss was higher than you, that your bank account was higher than you, that the economy is higher than you, that something has power over you, all those things. So we're talking about your new power, silence, and ignoring. Ignoring means ignoring everyone else's demand that you take their emergency seriously, unless you want to, unless it's fun, unless it feels right to you. Yeah, if Lance called me up today and said he needed help moving and I could be there, I would go help him move. And I might feel some stress while we carry a giant couch or something out of his house, okay? I might feel those things, but all of it would be fun. And I'd be drinking a beer, and then we'd be talking, and then we'd go do something else, and then we'd move some more of the furniture, and then we'd assess how the furniture fits into the room in an adventurous way. And then we'd look at how we're using our bodies to lift it. I mean, there's so much richness in the experience. So I'm not saying you won't do something to help your friend because you don't like helping people move. No, that's another excuse, another avoidance. We're talking about ignoring people's emergencies that you don't care about, and now embracing situations that other people invite you into that are surprising and that you feel, you know, if you want to help the guy move or not. If you want to, then do it. If you don't, then don't. But don't go do it and then complain the whole time and make him and you miserable. You see what I mean? That's the new power, the power of silence, knowing yourself. And because you already accepted yourself fully, then you can go forth and ask for what you want, get what you want. But ignore the things that bring you down. Ignore the things that take you away from what you want. And then you'll have the time. Ignoring earns you back time, money, and energy to spend on things you do like. So that's where that's at. The new power, your new superpower, silence and ignoring. Now you guys, having heard that, you can use that superpower right now, today. You win. I mean, step 8, week 8, superpower number 2, the power of hate. Now that one sounds weird, but my notes alongside this for this week is that this is where you get a taste of what I call instant transcendence, the power of hate, or what one of my colleagues and teachers, Dr. Hyatt, called the yoga of hate. This is something Lance and I have discussed for years, attempting to experience, to harness, to understand, to flow with. And I had an experience with the yoga of hate in my own life. I was in a situation that I didn't like, that I found very frustrating and like a very, very severe mental trap that I couldn't even see at first. And even though I was productive, even though I was enjoying, I'd say enjoying at least 75, 80% of my time, I was still dragged down really heavily by this experience, by the whole structure of my life, that I could barely identify what was going on there. But I felt a welling up of hate, a welling up of resentment and anger and rage. And while that hate could be focused on a particular person or situation, I knew better, because I was doing undoing and practicing all this stuff that I'm boiling down and serving up to you now, practicing it on such a direct level every single day, that I knew that the hate would teach me something. I knew of the concept of the yoga of hate, or of hate as a superpower, but I had no idea how to harness or use it, and I was terrified of it. And so I stayed in that situation for more years than I needed to. Now I see, I'm fully grateful. It was a perfect amount of time. Everything is a perfect amount of time. It can be no other. But from the point of view of my character in that situation, I wanted it to end, and I didn't know how to make it. And it wasn't until all at once I understood, or more than understood, experienced the superpower of hate. I concentrated all of it up at once and expressed it to nothingness. I fucking hate this, all in one giant expression of the body and emotions at once. And what happened? I let myself free. My body, against the wishes of my mind, took all my things, packed them up into the car, threw everything else away, and drove into a new reality that began that same day. Nothing about my life and my situation or even my geography was the same. And I had to break free from commitments I had made, from talking with others, from all these agreements, from living up to all these situations, and all at once. The only thing that could break those was the power of hate. Nothing else could. Not love, not fun, not excitement. And let's hand it over to Lance. I know we've really really nailed this one, I think, over the years. So let's what do you got there, Lance?
Yeah, I know that's a concept we were going to talk about, and it's a pretty deep one, and it's a subtle one. But hate is the sweet spot. But at first, it's like sticking your toe into a hot tub that's 300 degrees. So you have to go in slowly. But once you get more familiar with the hate and when it's coming up, you can get into the hot tub fast, and then you can really let it burn. But it's not burning compulsively, and you aren't taking it out on anyone.
Yeah, exactly. Or yourself. That's the point. It's
or
just
yourself.
a pure expression, just like a fire is a pure expression. A pure expression of the wood, like that's being consumed. And so in the same way, hate is consumed. You allow it, you light it on fire. The song Beautiful Pain by Eminem, that we've used so many times, is as perfect of an expression as I've ever heard for the power of hate. And who can deny, the guy is the master of that one thing, the yoga of hate, the superpower of hate. And he's actually turned it into the funnest, most enjoyable fucking thing you could ever.
His music is the perfect example of what happens when the hate has been dissipated, when the kettle's out of steam,
Suddenly just creates joy.
There's joy there.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right.
So and that's the thing. So the superpower of hate, and we bring him up as an example. It's regardless of whether or not you enjoy the music or the particular content or expression, but the idea, the force behind that, demonstrating that hate doesn't have to be a thing. A lot of people end up turning hate against races, against genders, against themselves, against other people, against their weight, against the body image, against another country, against another sports team, against the taxi driver, against the woman working at the grocery store. So all that stops. So you can imagine, without the hate bursting out into all these different situations in your life, they all go smoother automatically. That's something I want to hammer home throughout all this training. The changes themselves are effortless. Your efforts are made on a completely different level than you think they need to be made on. You think you need to be doing a budget for the money. You think you need to be doing a time management to organize your life, to be productive. You think you need to believe in New Age platitudes and meditate in a specific way every day to find inner peace. You think you need to go down and do a psychedelic retreat in the jungle to find transcendence from your situation. Okay? So we're turning all that on its head and showing you how to utilize what's actually going on in your life for true freedom in the moment. And the power of hate is one of the most fierce and powerful forces, but we don't let you even get your hands on it until week 8, because otherwise it's like flame coming out of your hands, or like the Cyclops in the X-Men. He has to wear those goggles. Otherwise, his eyes are shooting out explosive radioactive beams of fire all the time on everything he looks at. So that's the same thing as harnessing the yoga of hate. You wear those goggles. They help you see clearly, and you only aim the hate at things you want. And it becomes a plasma cutting torch to free you from situations you thought you couldn't escape in your life. Instant transcendence. Superpower number 3, but handle with care. So superpower number 3, the power of fun. So once you have hate under your belt, on your utility belt, once you have silence and ignoring, something starts to dawn on you. You start to smile a little more often, practicing the laughing breath quite a bit. Now we have the superpower of fun, which again serves us in this transcendence. Now, what do I mean by transcendence? Is that a religious term, a mystical term? No, I mean diving directly into what you're experiencing in your life and experiencing it so fully that you also witness awareness and a sense of something beyond it. And that's what I mean when you get to owning the world, owning reality. There's not just you, there's you and everything else about you. About you, about you. Okay. So the superpower of fun, this one we've gone through a lot lately, and we are going to cover fun and hate in the podcast. So we won't dive into it too much here, but the superpower of fun, just to say this, it forces you to be honest. If I ask you the question, are you having fun or not? It's always a yes or no answer. So this is the beginning of personal honesty, honesty with yourself. Am I having fun? And then you answer yourself yes or no. It's a much easier question to answer than all this other complicated stuff, psychological stuff. No, are you having fun or not? And if you're not, why not? The answer is always the same, because you're either feeling frustrated, you're feeling limited, or you're feeling restricted in some way. You're feeling uncomfortable. That's how you're not having fun. There's some amount of discomfort happening. So the next question is, did I choose to do this discomfortable or uncomfortable, limiting, frustrating thing? If yes, okay, well, I chose it. Then I might as well have fun doing it. If no, then why am I doing it? I didn't choose to do it. Can I stop it somehow? If no, can I have fun while doing it? The answer will be then yes. So it works you through a chain of questions, if you're honest with yourself, that will get you back to having fun, which ultimately is a winning act. You can never lose by having fun. And here's the hilarious thing. Almost all the times when you ask yourself, am I having fun, until it becomes a habit. Almost every time you ask yourself, the answer will be no. And it's not because you're not having fun. It's because you won't stop to ask yourself if you're having fun when you're having fun. You're not going to be in the middle of a roller coaster ride going, am I having fun? No, you won't. You'll wait until you're not having fun, and then you'll go, am I having fun at this meeting? Absolutely not. Okay, and then suddenly when you ask yourself the question, all these options will come up in your brain for like, it would be fun if I dumped this ice water on the boss. It would also be fun if I started saying my words just a little bit skewed so that no one noticed, but skewed enough so that everyone felt a little weird. It would also be fun if I made the proposal I felt too afraid to propose last week. And it would also be fun if I asked the boss for a raise, because I happen to notice he likes this TV show so much that I can go talk to him about. So suddenly, instead of being, I'm at work, I'm checking the motherfucking clock, when do we get out of this? Oh my God, another day. Is that guy going to ever stop talking? That self-abuse is all that is. You're just sitting there acting like it's all these other fucking people that are your problem, your boss. Did he force you to come in and make that application? Did he force you to not learn about business and sales? Did he force you? No, he provided you an opportunity, and you said, please tell me what to do. And then you said, I don't like it, but I'm not. Are you willing to leave? No. Okay. So anyway, I'm expressing my exasperation on all the invisible people I'm imagining here, but let's Lance, superpower number 3, fun and honesty. Did we cover that one in detail? We probably hammered home on that.
Yeah, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with fun.
So step number 10, taking out the trash. Taking out the trash, tension, conflict, drama. The question here is, what are you spending your time, money, and energy on? What exactly are you spending your time, money, and energy on? Now, I know my partner and I will go out, and I know sometimes we got to a new city, right? When we moved to Portland, or back to Portland the first time, for example, we're like, let's go out to eat. Okay, let's just go to the first place we find here down the street. And we go in and we end up eating this pizza. And the whole time we have just a slight feeling of like, it's kind of lame, but no, let's just get it. We're hungry. Let's get the pizza. And then we get it, and it is shitty, kind of, but it's okay, and it's kind of shitty. And we don't realize, all around us are amazing restaurants that we could just explore a little bit more and find something that we really, really like, and spend a little more and get something we really, really like. We're like, I was like, well, it's a $3 pizza. Maybe we'll save some money. Now we've talked ourselves into something that sucks. And we've spent money, even though we spent a little less money, we spent money on something we don't like, and instead of spending a little more money, a little more time, and a little more effort on something that we would really love, that we would enjoy every bite of, that it would have been worth the extra walk and the extra exploration to find, So that's what we're talking about here, week 10, taking out the trash. Now is where you've seen everything so clearly in the first 9 weeks that now when I tell you to take out the trash, you will not be able to refuse. You won't be able to refuse the refuse, pun intended. But you'll have to take it out. You'll have to empty it, because if I come into your house and we're sitting there and you have this whole back room full of trash bags. It's just been rotting away for years. And finally, I get you to admit that that room exists. And finally, together, we open it up and turn the lights on. And it's full of maggots. I mean, it's just nasty. It's been there for years, rotting away. I mean, some of it's unrecognizable, food waste. It's probably half living, you know, zombie monster now in your closet, full of trash. We're hauling all this
Garrett,
stuff
your
out,
mic.
just laying it out.
Your mic's gone a little funny.
My mic. Oh. Okay. Are we back with mic
All
action?
good. Yeah.
All good. Cool. Let me, excuse me, guys. Let me get my preferences going because I need to, I want to make sure that it's, let me see here. Just got to make sure that my mic, my preferences are that the mic is, there we go. Now we're back with the good mic. So taking out the trash without a hitch, just like there. So let's use that as an example. Right there, that experience I just had. Lance had to jump in and tell me that my mic was buzzing because I have a mic that does a weird thing at about 90 minutes. So what happened is Lance jumped in, tells me that I got to do my mic thing. So then were I a complete victim of circumstances, I may then have a reaction like, oh man, Lance cut me off. And then I might have another reaction. Fuck, my mic's not working. What's going on here? Okay, guys, hold on. We're in the middle of the live show. I can't make a mistake in the live show. No one's going to think that I know anything. Oh man, fuck. So the mic's not working. Lance, can you please help me? Listen, I have to call somebody and see if we can get the mic working again. Let's just stop. We're going to do, sorry guys, we'll do the webinar next time. You know, so things can just spiral out of control. But if you're watching, you'd see that's getting a window into what happens. But you'd see that would be me destroying the whole show. I would have taken one element, a not working mic, which is not a failure, not a problem, not even a mistake. It's just a happening. Okay, that now I could use to feel bad, to feel guilty. I could get mad at Lance. We can extrapolate every possible reaction from that one thing. But where I'm at with it now is just, oh, the mic. Let's unplug it and plug it back in. Where were we at? Week 10, taking out the trash. So that's what we're talking about. You're going to see all these situations in your life like that one right there. But for you, what are those situations? And you're going to see how to stop spending either time and or money and or energy on things that are creating strife and trouble for you, and you'll learn how to make the luxurious choice. Learning how to make the luxurious choice. And you know where that is. It's in 3D. So let's just say we're at the grocery store. You're looking at peanut butter. Here, and I bring this up as a personal example. We're looking at peanut butter. $3 for a pound. Then we look over at the shelf, and you kind of reject that. You go, I don't want this. I know that's bad. Now we get over to the next one, and it's natural. It's natural, but it's not organic, and that's $5. And it's got some of the oil in there, you can see, and it's only peanuts and salt, let's say. But it's creamy, and you want crunchy, and you also want it organic, because you know sometimes peanuts can be nasty, especially if it's not Valencia. So you know all this, and you see there's the Valencia peanuts and the organic, but it's $8.99 for a pound. Okay, $9, let's say. And you're looking over, there's the $9. And you can apply this to any situation. Cars, so there's the cheaper, the 30,000 BMW, there's the 100,000. You know if it's the 100,000 one you want. Okay? You know right away. If you trust yourself, you'll know which one it is. And not on a greed desire level, okay? Because remember, we've killed the victim off. We're not going for things that are going to make us okay. We're going for things we really love and feel good about. Okay? And that could be a car, it could be a game, it could be anything. But don't, when you're confronted with that peanut butter choice, or on a menu, you're out to eat, do you want the filet mignon or are you going to order the hamburger? Because, well, I don't know, I'll save a few dollars. It's just a meal. It's your life. Consider it your last meal every single time, because it is. So buy the jar of peanut butter that really deeply satisfies you. Make the luxurious choice. And the weird thing is you start triggering a situation in your life of increasing value. What is the word? What is a word that means increasing value? Think about it. What is the word that we use that means increasing value over time? Appreciation. Appreciation. If you start honoring your choice, treat yourself, we call it from Parks and Rec, treat yourself. If you start treating yourself to the high level, buy the $9 peanut butter, bring that home, taste it. Know that you appreciated more. You worked more for that. You put effort into it, time, money, and energy, and now you're getting the prize. Always get the prize. Don't get the second thing. Get number one on your list. And what happens when you get the $9 peanut butter instead of the $3? Seems like nothing. You made you number one now. Instead of all those ideas that said you should scrimp and save and shouldn't get what you want because you don't have enough. You see what happens? You made you number one. And now when you go to do business, you know you're number one. Other people are going to pay you because that's valuable. That's valuable shit. When you know you're number one, then you can go sell cars to people and you'll be telling them the truth and they'll believe you and it'll be awesome. You can go sell door to door. You can go put on workshops. All of it will happen because you know you're number one first. And you taught yourself that by always honoring yourself, getting the clothes you want, get the food you want, be with the people you want, go into the situations you really want, not the second one on your list. Go to number one and do that thing as much as you possibly can, and you'll find the resources start to appreciate as well. Taking out the trash. Number 11, week 11. We're almost out of time here. So week 11, nothing to live up to. This is hard hitting, but very simple. I'm not even going to elaborate on it very much. Almost every other system, religion, spirituality, self-development, what do they have in common? Something's wrong and something needs to be fixed. And here's how you fix it. That's where we get into the problem of living up to something. I have to live up to what the seduction guys say. I have to live up to this definition of success. I have to live up to that definition of satisfaction. I have to have this house. I have to live in that town. I have to do this. I have to honor that. And if I don't have that, then I can't be happy. So once you realize there's absolutely nothing to live up to, no one to compare yourself to, that comparison is the thief of joy, then you're free to do anything you want and never live up to any standard. And that way you can never judge yourself as wrong or bad. You can only be having experiences. Okay, nothing to live up to. And week 12 is basically a celebration. Welcome to your adventure. And that's it. Welcome to your adventure. Welcome to Indiana Jones in your own life, part 5.
That sounds really exciting, man.
That's the journey, and that's 12 weeks. So, we encapsulated it into one little piece here today. And like I said, if you guys have questions, or even if you're watching it on watching it later. Oh, Andrew made a comment there. Hate and anger slices right through the stickiness of sadness and nudges you along toward joy. That's a beautiful way to put it. Couldn't express it better. And so that goes back to our experience of the power of hate. But yes, so number 12, welcome to your adventure. And that's the whole thing. And so one thing, that's the solution to all those issues we talked about, all the ennui, all the things that you thought of as individual problems in your life, all the little things that are separate, that you think you need to figure out or handle. What we're talking about is dealing with things at the root, and all those other problems you thought you had to figure out just disappear. They just effortlessly disappear and dissolve. They go away. I'm not saying this is an effortless path. I'm saying you're going to make efforts, but they're going to be efforts motivated from inside you by inspiration, by motivation, by joy, by hate, by desire, by all the things that you've been ignoring this whole time, okay? So this is a self-motivated effort, but you're not going to be making efforts anymore to solve problems or to fix things. Those will solve themselves, and that's the true beauty of this experience. By week 12, it's unbreakable. You will have had these experiences we've outlined by the end of that 12-week journey. That's so much time to have this experience that you will have it. So the invitation now, this is the invitation. For those of you watching all the way through, you're getting an invitation here. And for those of you watching this on the replay as well, you'll notice on the page, you can go ahead and click to schedule your rapid transcendence session. So not only did I want you to have the experience here, live and on the video where you get to hear what each of these points are. Now you're going to get a chance to just get on the phone or get on Skype with me for half an hour, and we're going to talk about your specific situation, exactly what's going on in your life. And I'll give you some strategies to rapidly transcend those exact things. And if you feel that on the call, not later on, not a month later, not two months later, If I'm able to demonstrate that to you on the call and help you demonstrate it to yourself, then we will explore the invitation into the elite training. That's how you get in. So I invite you to look below the video, click on the button. If you happen to be watching this on a YouTube video, there'll be an annotation that appears above, and you can click that to find out for more information. You'll see a calendar appear. There's a very limited amount of slots, and that's on purpose because as soon as this elite workshop hits capacity, the first round, it's closed down, and I won't be inviting any more people, but you have to be invited through that path. That's the only way. There is no other way than getting on the phone or on Skype with me or myself or Lance or someone involved in the CZ and Art of NGF inner circle and situation. You'll have to get in contact directly, and we'll explore your exact situation and make sure that this training will do exactly what I've promised you it will do, and that you'll be able to handle it very smoothly and with a lot of fun. And if there's other work you need to do or other things that I can help you do, we will provide you with the tools for that. Okay? So the Rapid Transcendence session, you can't go wrong. It's our chance to meet each other, explore how this work is going to go, and then whether or not the next step is right for you. And then you'll receive your invitation from there. But in any case, you will get strategies you can apply during the call and exercises you can apply the rest of your life that will help you to navigate your situation in a way that feels flowing, enjoyable, and fun to you. So anything else you want to add, Lance, before the end here? Well, let's say, so why take the 12-week training if you have the 12 steps laid out right here? You already know what they all are, so why take it? Well, my first answer is, one of the things, Lance knows this too, that we've heard over all these years, and one of the reasons why we still give each other sessions, we're still doing sessions on our own and still living this material every day, is that consistency is the main issue. These things will happen. If you do all these steps, they will actually happen with the exercises and the adventures I'll give you along with them. They're reliable and solid, 100% reliable. They will work if you apply them consistently every day. So that's why it's drawn out to 12 weeks. You could accomplish all this today. You could walk away from your old life and start your new one right now watching this video. You know you could. I'm not lying to you there. I've done it a million times. You can do it too. But I'm going to show you a way to allow it to happen in a way that's super fun, super enjoyable, and allows you to use the resources you have to make it more of a magic carpet ride than a disaster or an apocalypse. It can look both ways.
Yeah, you're building up a new approach to life, and over the 3-month span, you'll get to see how life is responding different to you.
And along the way, in a context where you can reach out to other people who are having the same or similar experiences, so you don't get paranoid or drive yourself insane when you start to see, like, oh my God, the speck of dust in the corner is connected to the rabbit outside, is connected to the wind, and I can hear the trees talking now. And oh my God, I feel so overwhelmed with joy. Am I having a heart attack? You know, you can reach out and say that to someone else and they'll go, oh, dude, yeah, me too. And after that, man, when I had a burger, that was the first time I ever had a burger. You know, you can actually enjoy and share the ride with a bunch of other guys who are going through the same thing. That's
really the beauty of what you're providing there.
And that's going to make the 12 steps easier to go through. So you see, a lot of this is built, you know, on there's stuff you'll see from other places. The 12 steps, for example. There is a useful core there. You know, if you're trying to quit an addiction, if you follow those steps on your own and not let someone else tell you what they mean and how they actually work in your life, if you made them your own, you could see some transcendence there. And people do. It's just when it becomes calcified and you become a mechanical part of a machine rather than a living, organic, vital person who can enjoy life. You see, the regular 12-step programs generally create a new dependency on an external power source that's not you. Okay, so they trade one addiction for another. We're not talking about that here. We're talking about a completely new view of life. But I like to use the 12-step approach because it gives you a sense of ascending. And there will be a sense of ascending. You'll literally be lighter because your body's not doing so much work to maintain tension and conflict. So with that said, that's the end. What we want you to do is to see through the illusion of repetition, the illusion of the mundane, enough so that you stop taking it for granted before you end up on your deathbed. That's the whole point here, folks. I want you to wake up to the beauty of just being alive before it's too late, before you have to look back and go, oh man, I wish I'd have been there with all those beautiful people, with all those beautiful situations. Because I'll remind you at the end here, they're all on their way out. Everyone, everything on their way out. And the more you remember that, yeah, there's a tinge of sorrow, a tinge of melancholy that comes along with that. You'll have to bear, and you'll bear that forever. But by bearing that, you earn yourself the gift of such a beautiful awareness that can never be duplicated. Like I said, you are the pioneer on the frontier of your perception all the time. That can never be taken away from you. You can only lie to yourself that it's not true. So with that, I think we've completed this presentation to my satisfaction. You, Lance, any closing words?
No, that wraps it up. Thank you, everyone.
So we'll be looking. Yeah, and thank you, Lance, too. Sorry for cutting you off there. Thanks for joining us on the show. This has been a wonderful exploration. This is the first time anyone's getting to hear about what the NGF Elite program consists of, and I'm super excited to be packing all this together and to go for launch with our first round of folks. So if you want to get in on it, make sure you get that session scheduled. We'll talk, and then you'll be put on the list. So let's say right now, probably first 10 to 20 people. I haven't decided, but we'll see. I'm going to decide based on all you guys who are coming, and this is a very individual, personal thing. So going to be hand selected, the first 10 or 20, and then it's closed down for them, and we'll launch right into the program. So look forward to working with you guys.
All right, thanks, Garrett. I mean, listening to the rundown of the 12 steps was fun enough. Imagine actually taking part in the 12-week course fully engaged. Woo! So thanks, everyone, for joining us. That wraps up our event. We'll talk to you soon.